In the vast world of Greek mythology, there stands a poignant tale as captivating and tragic as any ever told. It's the story of Echo and Narcissus, interwoven with themes of unrequited love, vanity, and transformation. But why is this ancient myth still relevant today, thousands of years after it was first told? What does it reveal about the intricacies of human nature, our emotions, and the subtle lessons hidden within? Join me as we journey through this hauntingly beautiful story, a tale that resonates in the whisper of the forests and the stillness of reflective pools. Deep in the heart of the ancient Grecian forests lived a nymph named Echo, a being of lively spirit and unmatched beauty. Her charm lay not only in her physical allure, but in her enchanting voice. Echo could talk, sing, and weave stories that could hold audiences spellbound. Yet, it was this very gift of speech that would seal her fate. Legend has it that Echo, with her endless chatter, became a cunning accomplice to Zeus, the king of the gods, in his many pursuits of other nymphs. She used her voice to distract Hera, Zeus's jealous wife, misleading her and drawing her attention away from Zeus's indiscretions. However, Hera's wrath, once ignited, was hard to dissipate. Discovering Echo's deception, she cast upon the nymph a cruel and unrelenting curse. From that moment forward, Echo's voice was no longer her own. She could only repeat the words spoken to her, never initiate, never elaborate, forever an echo, literally and figuratively. How tragic it must have been, a creature so vibrant and full of expression reduced to a fragment of herself. Stripped of her individuality, isolated in a world that once reveled in her stories, Echo wandered aimlessly through the dense woods. Nature enveloped her sorrow, but even the rustling trees and singing birds could not fill the void. Meanwhile, in another corner of this mythological realm, a mortal boy of extraordinary beauty was coming of age. His name was Narcissus. His visage was the envy of men and the desire of women. But here lay the paradox. Narcissus, gifted as he was with aesthetic perfection, was utterly indifferent to the affections of others. Admiration followed him, but it seemed to only cement his arrogance. Suitors and admirers, captivated by his charm, were met with disdain or cruel rejection. Yet it wasn't just mortal hearts he scorned. Indeed, his arrogance stretched to the heavens, and the gods took note. This was a man fixated solely on himself, blind to the pain he inflicted. His uninterested heart became a symbol, not of innocence, but of the growing shadow of hubris. Beauty in his demeanor was unaccompanied by compassion, a combination the gods would not leave unpunished. One fine day, the paths of these two isolated souls crossed within a serene glade. Narcissus, as confident as ever, tread through the forest, while Echo, hidden among the trees, saw him and was immediately stricken. Never before had her cursed existence felt so cruel. She wanted nothing more than to call out to him, to tell him of her love, her yearning. But her voice, bound to Hera's curse, left her powerless to express anything of her own. Narcissus, hearing the faint rustle of leaves, called, "Who's there?" To which Echo could only reply, "Who's there?" A strange, circular conversation ensued, with Echo merely repeating his words back to him in reverent longing. At first amused, Narcissus eventually grew annoyed. "Stay away from me," he declared, turning his back on her. Heartbroken by his disdainful rejection, Echo retreated deeper into the wilderness. There, in her mounting sorrow, she imploded upon herself, her form withering away until only her voice remained, forever resounding in the caves and mountains. As for Narcissus, his day of reckoning was drawing near. The gods, weary of his coldness toward others, decided it was time for him to experience the sting of unreciprocated love. While wandering alone, just as Echo had before, Narcissus stumbled upon a pristine pool of water. As he bent down to take a drink, he saw the reflection of his face for the first time. Mesmerized by its beauty, he was entranced. Love ignited in his chest. He saw perfection and grace, but But little did he understand that this exquisite being, this otherworldly vision he beheld, was none other than himself. Narcissus reached out to touch the image, but the rippling water distorted it cruelly, and he realized he could never hold what he desired most. Bound in this self-inflicted infatuation, he remained by the pool, day after day, yearning, despairing, and unable to look away. Each attempt to satiate his love brought him closer to despair. His once dispassionate existence began eroding under the weight of unfulfilled longing, an irony not lost on the gods. Eventually, life ebbed out of Narcissus, as he became yet another casualty of tragic love. Or did it? Myth says the gods transformed his body into a flower, a narcissus to be precise, its delicate petals perched beside pools of water, forever gazing down at its reflection. Both Echo and Narcissus underwent haunting transformations, and these symbolize the permanence of their stories. Echo's presence, though intangible, became immortal. Her voice now exists in the natural world, repeating sounds as if telling her tale forever. She remains intangible, but omnipresent, a poignant metaphor for unrequited love. Narcissus's transformation, on the other hand, served as an eternal punishment and reminder of the perils of self-obsession. The white blooms of the Narcissus flower hold a strange, melancholic beauty, their appearance a symbol of his doomed fate. What is it about this myth that resonates across millennia? Perhaps it's the universal appeal of its lessons, the caution against excessive pride, the pain of unreciprocated affection, and the consequences of selfishness. From Narcissus's name, we derive the term narcissism, forever embedding the cautionary tale into the lexicon of psychology. Similarly, the word echo is immortalized in phenomena of sound reflection. But beyond these linguistic phrases, the story transcends. It speaks to the soul's innermost yearning for connection, the fragility of human ego, and the interconnected web of actions and consequences. The myth of Echo and Narcissus is much more than a tale about divine interventions or tragic love. It is a mirror held up to human civilization, reminding us of our vulnerabilities and excesses. We are all, at times, like Echo, seeking acceptance and unable to find it. And yes, we may all carry a trace of Narcissus, compelled by our own self-reflections, disconnected from the hearts of those around us. The story remains timeless because it is innately human. It asks us to consider, are we too self-absorbed? Are we overlooking the love around us? And perhaps most pressing of all, has pride severed us from recognizing the beauty in others' imperfections? Let us walk away from their tale not just entertained, but enlightened as well. If you found the story of Echo and Narcissus moving, like this video, share it, and subscribe for more timeless myths and lessons from history and beyond.